Winnipeg. Goaltender J.C. Bergeron played well enough to win in Washington on Saturday and will get another test tonight against the Jets. Teemu Selanne is as dangerous a scorer as there is in the NHL, but he's still looking for his first goal this season. Stopping power forward Keith Tkachuk will also be a priority tonight for the Lightning as they tangle with the Jets. Next on Sunshine Network. In wintertime, Portage Avenue in downtown Winnipeg is one of the coldest spots in North America. But in the fall, it's downright balmy. Just down the street is the Winnipeg Arena, where tonight Sunshine Network presents Tampa Bay Lightning Hockey. Our matchup this evening features the Lightning and the Winnipeg Jets. Good evening, everyone. Rick Peckham and Bobby Taylor with you tonight as the Lightning embark on a 3-game road trip. And Chief, right off the bat, the Lightning would like to turn things around from Sunday night's disappointing loss at home to the Ottawa Senators.
It was not a very good outing for any player on the ice. I mean, starting right with Darren Poopa all the way out, I think they all would, to a man, say they didn't play very well. But this is a good chance for them to rebound. You always like to win that first game on the road trip, so why not start tonight?
The Jets are coming off a 5-5 deadlock here at Winnipeg Arena also on Sunday as they caught the Red Wings in a wild one.
Well, you know, Detroit came from behind to tie them, so most times coaches would say, well, we didn't play very well, but that wasn't the case with Terry Simpson. He thought that the Jets played an extremely strong game. They have trouble giving up goals, but they can sure score a ton of them, so the Lightning better be ready for a big offensive thrust from the Winnipeg Jets tonight.
We'll be back to look at some of the top performers in tonight's game in just a moment. The Winnipeg Arena tonight, the Jets and the Lightning get together. The Jets are going to be moved after this season, most likely to Minnesota. Rick Peckham and Bobby Taylor back with you, and let's talk about some of the key performers tonight, Chief. For the Lightning, John Cullen has always been a gifted scorer throughout his career, and he hasn't disappointed in the short time he's been in Tampa Bay.
Well, he's been even more than a scoring, even though he's picked up 4 points in the first 4 games, 2 of which were goals. He's also been used on the penalty-killing teams. He also gives them a real strong second unit on the power play. So John Cullen's been asked to do a lot of things in this early part of the season, and he has not disappointed the coaching staff.
Sean Burr's another veteran who comes with a pretty varied resume. He can do a lot of things.
He has. He's played extremely well. He and Tucker have been the best penalty killers for the Lightning up until this point, but he wanted to improve on his offense, which he did on Sunday. He picked up a goal and assist, and I think you're going to see a more of a complete player in Sean Burr. He's in pretty good shape now. He's worked very, very hard, so I think the goals and assists will start to come as well as the checking.
The Jets have a tremendously skilled front line of forwards, but they lack some depth, so they acquired Darren Turcotte just before the season began.
They needed a center. Turcotte was being used as a winger in Hartford, and his natural position is center. He has a lot of speed, and he can really shoot the puck. He was set with Teemu Selanne for the first time in that 5-5 tie against Detroit. He and Selanne really give them a lot of speed. They work very well together. You're going to see them together again tonight.
The Jets are unbeaten on home ice. The Lightning, in only their second road game, are looking for their first points of the season. We'll have tonight's opening face-off in a moment. Sunshine Network presents Tampa Bay Lightning Hockey. Tonight's game is brought to you by Bud Ice. It's not hockey without ice. Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light, the official beer sponsor of the NHL. By the Discover card. It pays to discover the car that pays you back. By Cooper Tires. For one of the best tires on the road today, by quality American-made Cooper Tires. See your yellow pages for the Cooper dealer nearest you. By the Gatorade Company, reminding you if you're not standing on the sidelines, you're going to get thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up. And by Southwest Airlines. Just plain smart.
The true north, strong and free, from far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh,
Jennifer Hansen with the anthems. The crowd settles in at Winnipeg Arena. Let's meet tonight's starting goaltenders. J.C. Bergeron gets the start for the Lightning. His only other appearance on the road on Saturday. Played well, 25 saves against the Capitals in a 2-0 loss.
He's had a real strong spring training. Fall training camp, he had about a 1.5 goals against average. Had that good out against Washington. Darren Puppa, not 100% tonight. He took that shot on the shoulder late in the game against the Senators, and so they decided to start with Bergeron because he played so well.
Tim Cheveldae starts for the Jets.
Here's a kid that got into a lot of trouble in Detroit with the fans. They kind of blamed their early exit in the playoffs a couple of years back on him, but he's a pretty good goaltender, and he's played well for the Jets so far this season.
The officials tonight, a veteran crew. As Andy Van Hellemond is the referee. The linesmen are Leon Stickle and Wayne Bonney. There is Terry Crisp behind the Tampa Bay bench, looking to get his team back in the win column tonight.
He's made a couple of lineup changes. Brian Bradley not playing tonight because of that bad toe, so Damon Lankow will be in his spot.
Matt Karam came right in front. Rookie defenseman Jason Doig cleared the puck. Paul Eisebart, the Lightning captain, with a pass for Damon Lankow. John Tucker positioned in front, and Lankow in the wraparound is stopped by Cheveldae. And Doig, the big 228-pound rookie defenseman, clears the puck. Roman Hammerlick backboard. Angles the pass off the boards. They wave off the icing as Cheveldae sweeps the puck to Teppo Numminen. He's got Mike Eastwood coming out of the zone with Darren Shannon, who backhands it in. Jets change it up, so do the Lightning, as Hammerlick is cleared sailing to the line. He's met by Solani there. Igor Korolev shoots it back into the Tampa Bay zone. David Shaw has Darren Turcotte right on him, who centers, and it's broken up by Chris Gratton. Teemu Solani throws it in behind the net. Hammerlick pokes it back inside the Winnipeg line. Dave Manson's there. He quickly gets rid of it. Solani couldn't pick it up. Lightning have changed up on the defense. Corey Cross gets to it. Sends the puck off the glass. It's just dump and chase here in the opening moments of this contest.
You know, one of the things, Rick, Winnipeg are really looking for a defenseman. Their young defensemen are going to be good in years to come, but are not quite ready yet. And they do have trouble getting out of their zone, so you might see a lot of icing.
Korolev couldn't reach that pass from Manson. Cross gets to it, leaves it for Sean Burr, and he'll backhand it out to center. Keith Tkachuk hands it to Numminen. Yeah, they're playing three teenagers. Two of them on defense. Darren Quint, we saw him in the last shift, just 19. Doig's only 18. They have a lot of youth in that defensive unit for head coach Terry Simpson. Tkachuk overskates the puck. John Cullen gets it to Sean Burr. He's got Sullivan off with him. The pass to Alexander, and the play is whistled down offside. Lines to watch, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Just plain smart.
Well, you see the couple of changes, just subtle ones. Not really. Lankow in there instead of Brian Bradley. Brian Bradley's toe still bothering. Got hit again on that foot on Sunday night. Jason Wimmer will move up on the left side with Gratton and Klima. Might see him getting more ice time here tonight. Turcotte, Korolev, and Solani, the big line for the Jets. And the big thing about that other line you see there, this is Keith Tkachuk's first game back after having a hip point.
And he missed 3 games out with the injury, and of course signed a big new contract after a lengthy holdout. Surrendered his captaincy as a result of that holdout. They just weren't sure if he was going to come back to the organization or not, and as a result, Chris King wears the captain's C for the Jets. Jason Doig. His pass hit the skate of teammate Mike Stapleton. Sean Burr disrupting things. No score. We've played nearly 3 minutes. And Olczyk flips the puck back toward Lightning territory. It's fielded by Bill Holder, and he connects with Brian Bellows just coming off the Tampa Bay bench. Bellows' shot is blocked. It's picked up by Stapleton. He quickly turns things around. 3 Lightning back defensively as Hammerlick blocked the shot. Stapleton goes to Eddie Ronan. Ronan's pass is taken over by Holder, recovered though by the Jets. Bergeron plays it around for Bellows. Cullen skates it out 2-on-2. He's got Mikhail Anderson with him. Cullen steps around one man, centers, and it's by the stick of Anderson, taken over by Stapleton. At the end of his shift, he'll just dump it in. David Shaw swings by for the puck. Got ahead for Anderson. Gonna speed away from Eastwood. He does as Aaron Gavey going to the net. The pass is by him. Ryan Bellows picks it up. Back to Hammerlich. Shooting a stick save by Cheveldae. Eastwood on the wing to Darren Shannon. Shaw plays it back in off Dave Manson. The Lightning now on a change. Dallas Drake hands the puck to the rookie Darren Quint. Manson fires it around the boards and by Cross, and they wave off icing. What you got to do to get an icing call, Chief?
That one they said might have come through the uniform of Corey Cross, but it was a pretty hard shot or clearing pass by Manson.
Darren Shannon lost the puck to Yzervart, cutting in its flank out, shooting as they rebound by Tucker, and Cheveldae made the stop there too. Cross holds it in for the Lightning. Yzervart looking to center. His pass is tipped by Manson, centered quickly by Lankow. Tucker hooks it wide. Well, getting on the Jets a bit after a spell of pressure by the Lightning. Here's Stephen Finn to roll it in deep in the Winnipeg zone, and Doy gets to it. He's met by Lankow, though he's outweighed by about 40 pounds. Korolev overtakes Damon Lankow for the puck. Solani neatly maneuvers away from Tucker. The pass ahead for Turcotte at the sharp angle. He had it poked away by the 6'5" Enrico Ciccone. Gary Crisp sends out a new unit. Jason Weimer, who made his regular season debut on Sunday on this line with Peter Klima and Chris Gratton. Klima trying to wheel around Teppo Newman, who stays with him. Weimer in for the puck. His centering pass broken up by Turcotte. Weimer takes on Doig. We've got a penalty upcoming as Andy Van Hellemond has halted play. No score through 5.5 minutes.
Not only are Cooper Tigers trained to perform to your every demand, they're also good at
Center, the official hospital of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
While Sharon and Poshek are healthy scratches, Zamner still with a bad knee, and Brian Bradley with that bad toe. Zamnoff for Winnipeg is a bad knee. Gillen and McKenzie are healthy scratches as well for the Jets.
Penalty was on Darren Turcotte of Winnipeg. 2 for high sticking at 5:29. So the Lightning on the power play at the first opportunity. It's time to look at the power play numbers, brought to you by Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. Lightning come in 6 of 30, 20%, 8th best in the NHL. The Jets have had a problem killing the penalty, surrendering 9 goals. They're 21st in the league as Cheveldae takes a whistle.
Yeah, that's one thing about this Jet club. They're tied for second in goals scored. Florida and Boston, the other teams that have scored 21 goals, leading the parade with 24 goals. You know, so when they're second place in scoring, I think it's Pittsburgh. But Terry Simpson has his team stressing defense, but it's hard when you got youngsters out there playing it.
Klima's shot is deflected, loose puck in front, battled for. Neil Wilkinson kicks at it, down he goes. The Lightning keep it alive. Hammerlich. Gratton lets it go. Silovanov. With Daryl Shannon getting position on him in that corner, and out come the Jets. Stapleton and Ed Ronan on the rush. The pass to Ronan, shooting stick save by Bergeron. 59 seconds remaining on Turcotte's penalty. Cullen starts it up by. Nice pass to Alexander Silovanov, shooting from a sharp angle, and Cheveldae shut him off, but it's cleared by Wilkinson. Jets changing up on the penalty killing unit. The Lightning now with Yzervart out, with Damon Lankow and Brian Bellows up front. Hammerlich and Klima remain the point men. Cheveldae handles that puck, cannot sneak it by Hammerlich. Klima. Lankow in deep to Bellows, looking for Yzervart, pokes it toward the net. Cheveldae crawls to cover it up. As the pass was tipped, it surprised Yzervart. It didn't reach his stick where he expected it. And we get a whistle.
Well, they're getting their opportunities on the power play. And that's something that they didn't get against Ottawa. But right there, sometimes when that comes through a player, you're not expecting to get through there. Especially there, when you think that pass is coming or that shot's coming, the goalie's going to cover it. So when it does come through, it's almost like picking up a screen or something. It's very difficult to pick it up at the last minute.
16 seconds left in the penalty. Bill Holder drives one off the pads of Chevalier. Nice work by Lankow to put the puck in behind the net. Manson sails it into the seats. 5 seconds remaining on Turcotte's penalty. Keys to the game brought to you by Seminole Gaming Palace. So not like Vegas, only closer.
Well, a big thing is for the Lightning is not to get in a freewheeling game. They got to neutralize the speedy forwards of this Winnipeg Jet hockey team. Penalty killing has been strong until Ottawa, and then they kind of fell down. It has to get back up to the level which we know it can play at. And in the defensive zone, they must be a lot sharper. Very sloppy Sunday night. That area of the ice, the coaching staff wants to really be very, very crisp and tight there. They don't want it sloppy as we saw on Sunday evening.
Well, for the coaching staff, for the players, they all want to forget the performance on Sunday. And you made a good point, Chief. The penalty killing up until Sunday was excellent. In fact, when we saw them in Landover against the Capitals, it was superb. Now the penalties over to Turcotte. The team's back at full strength. Still no score. 12-17 to go. First period. Eamon Lankow. Lead pass for Bellows. It's tipped. Reaching, and it's Yzerberg cutting in on Chevalier. Scores! Paul Yzerberg got in behind the defense, and he opens the scoring at 7:52.
Yzerberg has had a couple of opportunities in this period on the power play and also coming down the middle. But boy, what a nice passing play. Watch this quick pass deep into the zone. Here's Lankow now tipping it through. And there's the pass that Yzerberg's using that good speed. Really surprising the defenseman out there. I believe Dave Manson, he just went around behind him. He'll make that Newman in there, one of their better defensemen. And he go by, and they open up the scoring. So Yzerberg happy with finally getting a chance and making it work.
And we'll check the scoring on this goal, but it could be a number of firsts for everybody involved. It is the first goal of the season for Yzerberg. We get an icing called here against Tampa Bay. The Lightning lead it 1-0.
They were robbed. No. Don't let this happen to you.
The assist program will donate $50 for goals scored by forwards and wins by goalies, $75 for goals by defensemen. All donations benefit a Tampa Bay area charity or community service organization. And with that goal by Paul Yzerberg, $50 goes to the American Red Cross as he makes it 1-0. Great start by the Lightning. They've outshot Winnipeg 8-3 through 8 minutes. The assists on that goal go to Damon Lankow and Brian Bellows.
Their first points of the year. Yzerberg's first goal, Lankow and Bellows' first points.
Now Wilkinson took a slash. We've got a penalty upcoming to the Lightning as Bird touches the puck. Wilkinson dropped a glove. He was in some pain over near the Winnipeg Jet bench, and will have a penalty at 8:38. And the Lightning will have to protect that 1-0 lead. It'll be Aaron Gavey going off.
Well, Gavey tried to knock the stick down, and you see as he went down, there's the stick, and it came back, and the stick came up and got Darren Wilkinson right in the face, right down the cheek area, or the nose even. So he'll sit for 2 minutes. And it'll be a slashing call rather than high sticking at 8:48. But now the Lightning have to pay attention to this power play. Even though the Jets are a high-scoring team, their power play unit is not working real well. In fact, their specialty teams have not been real strong for Coach Terry Simpson at all so far this season. But he scored 21 goals, and the bulk of them come at even strength.
Keith Tkachuk lost track of the puck, and Sean Burr says, "I'll take it," and he clears it. Youngster Darren Quint works at a point position with Darren Turcotte. And Turcotte taking the spot of the injured Alexei Zhamnov, who's out with a knee injury. But Turcotte has played the point throughout his career, primarily with the New York Rangers. Turcotte starts it ahead. shoots it in. Bergeron can't get to it. Kachuk met there by Burr, who opens up with Tucker. Here's a drive at the point. Quinn on goal. Rebound. They score! Igor Korolev has tied it up at 9:16.
Well, Korolev has really taken advantage of a second chance, almost a third chance. He was going to be sent to the minors last year by the Jets. Played better, but watch this shot here from Darren Quinn. He gets it in front. The rebound was right there. And Korolev very, very quickly put it in the top corner. The rebound comes out of the pack, but it doesn't go very far. It just lands not even more than 10 inches away from Bergeron. And before Bergeron could jump on it, Korolev scores his 6th of the season to tie the game on a power play goal.
And as you mentioned, Chief, he really hasn't produced much or been given an opportunity to do so. He had 8 goals his best year last year, and he's got 6 already this season. Lightning come right back with some pressure, but Quint breaks it up. And out comes Darren Shannon. We're tied at 1 now with 10:22 to go. First period, Shannon gives it up to Drake. He scores! 2 goals in 26 seconds for Winnipeg, and the Jets are out in front.
You can't get outnumbered in your defensive zone with these guys. This is the quick pass, and now it's a 3-on-2. Nobody's picked up the far winger to the right of your screen. That's Drake. He takes the quick shot, and it goes between the 5-hole, in between the legs of J.C. Bergeron. And Winnipeg very quickly has taken the lead here, halfway through the first period. But again, see, this is a 3-on-2. One winger very slow at getting back to pick it up, and Drake picks up number 3.
Dallas Drake, who came to the Jets along with Cheveldae a couple of years ago in a trade involving Bob Essensa, scores here, and we're going to have a goaltending change by Terry Crisp at the 9:42 mark. Darren Pupa will step into the net, replacing J.C. Bergeron, who faces 5 shots and surrenders 2 goals. And Pupa, despite the slightly injured shoulder on his catching glove, we look at his numbers on this season. Important to note, he's 5-1 lifetime against the Jets. Paul Yzerbark shoots it in. Around for John Tucker. Yzerbark quickly in on Newman. Holder battles Korolev, picked up by Ciccone, throws it on the net. Rebound is fired wide by Tucker. Holder going to compact the play, keeps it into the point. Backhanded by Doig. Uselany, and Turcotte races ahead. Held up by the Lightning defense. Ciccone sails it off the glass. Doig across for Korolev. Broken up by Holder. Newman battles to keep it in. Lightning controlled it though. Yzerbark has the Tampa Bay goal. Now here is Damon Lankow circling around the defense, shooting. Cheveldae came right way out to meet him and make the stop. And Doig will send the puck the length of the ice. We'll have an icing called here against the Jets. Keep it right here on Sunshine Network for Press Box, featuring live sports news and up-to-the-minute highlights from around the country. Press Box live on Sunshine tonight at midnight.
Point out too, you know, that when you pull the goalie, you can still put him back into the game, and that's what they have done now. Darren Pupa came out there, and Terry Crisp pulled out J.C. Bergeron. I think he wanted to get a message across to his team that, hey, listen, we're being very, very sloppy in our end. That was what hurt us against Ottawa on Sunday. That draws attention to your defensive play, and now Bergeron's back in there, and Darren Pupa's back on the bench.
Donovan shovels it to Cullen, fires in front, it's taken over at the defense by Manson, kept in by Shaw. His drive is deflected wide by Olczyk. Shane Doan, the Winnipeg first-round pick, starts it up ice. Shaw back. Silvanov and Cullen bump as the Lightning leave the zone. And Kachuk was a diving hit at John Cullen, one former Boston University Terrier, landing a hit on another there. Pass ahead for Silvanov. Gonna step in around Manson, who plays the man. Hammerlick has the puck, can't turn the corner. Burr picks it up. Silovanov waiting in front. Quint stole the pass. Hammerlick holds it in. Lets it go. Chevalier had a good look, and he squeezes it for the whistle. 8:24 to go in the first. Winnipeg leads 2-1. You in part by the new Dodge. See your friendly Dodge dealer today. Face off at Winnipeg ice. Gavey wins the draw. Bellows shot doesn't make it through. Ronan has it. Shovels it out for Stapleton. Cross had the angle. Gets it to Gavey. He's belted by Ronan. Jets are offside. Delayed signal by the linesman as Finn is allowed to move it out. As the Jets had returned to center. The outlet stolen by King. Fires in front for Ronan. Broken up by Cross. Anderson flips it back toward Winnipeg ice. Daryl Shannon, the older brother of Darren Shannon. Back for the touch-up. We got a whistle.
Yeah, they've been talking about that. Shannon has had a pretty good game start to this season. But I think one of the things that they've really been working on, he's the defenseman. Darren is the forward. But they really are looking for a defenseman, according to John Paddock. They need help back there. They struggle when they get the puck inside their zone, and they have trouble getting the puck up to the forwards. This is what's amazing about the Winnipeg Jets being second in scoring in the league, because they haven't really got too many defensemen back there that can get them the puck when they're breaking out of the zone, so they're doing it practically all on their own.
Well, they consider, of course, Solani, Shamnov, and Kachuk their big three up front. That trio is combined for 1 goal.
Yeah.
Their defense has produced 5, and 17 have been scored by the rest of the forwards, so that's good news at least for them that they've got some depth, but they want to get the big guns going. And Korolev starts the play in. He's met a nice poke check by Stephen Finn, and Seleny is taken into the net by Bellows away from the play. The Tampa Bay net is dislodged, and it's now been spied by the officials, and we get the stoppage in play with 7:16 to go in the first, and Winnipeg leading.
One of the things you got to be careful of with Winnipeg, and it's been that way for the number of years now because they've always had quick forwards, is you got to be very careful of turnovers right around their blue line, the offensive blue line. If you turn that puck over there, this club counterattacks very, very quickly, and they have such speed. This is what we're talking about right here. As you see that play right at the blue line, they turned it over, and you can see the defenseman moving in very, very quickly there, Newman, and moving it up. And that's the thing you got to caution against, is turning it over at that offensive blue line. You got to get it in a little bit deeper than that so they don't get their transition game going.
Jets move it out smoothly as Drake bounces it to the corner. Shaw gets there. Eastwood had poked it in front. Langkow is belted by Darren Shannon, and Isabart makes sure that puck leaves the zone. Catch you up on the scoring plays. Isabart from Langkow, his first NHL point. Brian Bellows, his first Lightning point to open the scoring. And Igor Korolev is 6th from Darren Quint and Keith Kachuk at a power play at 9:16. And Dallas Drake with his 3rd from Darren Shannon and Mike Eastwood at 9:42. 2 goals in 26 seconds. And Drake has the goal that is the difference in this hockey game right now.
He had a fine year with the Red Wings, and he thought he was going to be one of these nice young players, but they had trouble moving him into the lineup. He played center in college, and he moved him to the wing because of the logjam at center ice for the Red Wing organization, obviously with Yzerman and Fedorov. So in that big trade here, they got a Senza, and Drake had to be moved. And I know Winnipeg's very happy with that. They use him mostly as a winger.
Lightning hold up the Jets. Went backboard, over skates it. Weimer right on top of the puck, joined by Grattan. Puck is kicked in front and taken by Manson. Fires it to center. Ciccone takes it there, buys some time, hangs in there well, and starts the play back into the zone. Kachuk steals it. Grattan bothering him. Quint with a pass that's broken up by Klima, and it comes back to Holder. We talked about the Jets teenagers in their lineup. Of course, the Lightning have theirs, and Langkow and Weimer both just 19 years of age. As Burr just off the bench, the pass to Grattan, shooting, he scores! Chris Grattan drilled it off Chevalier and in. at 14-10, and Tampa Bay has tied it at 2.
That's a big goal. Not only does it tie the game, but it's a good goal for Chris Gratton because he didn't stop the puck. He just one time to watch this play coming up there. You'll find Burl come in on a line change as Peter Klima straddles the blue line. Now all Burr does is go to the boards and pass it right to Gratton, and he just lets it go. And the 5-hole is where Chevalier has had trouble before in his years in Detroit. That's been a weak spot for him. They found it, and they tied the game.
Here's Gratton with his second goal in 5 games. He's had a point in all but 1 game this season. The goal at 14-10. Klima and Burr should get the assists on it. Cullen back for the puck for the Lightning. 5.5 to go in the first period. We're tied at 2. Sedovanov across to Cullen. He is belted by Dorr. Newman in back for the puck. Even up, Sedovanov cuts it, shoots, and he misses top shelf. Rebound. Chevalier came over with a glove, and he wraps Burr. Burr another try, and Chevalier got a piece of that one. 3 great chances. Make it 4 for the Lightning there. Bergeron keeps the puck away from the net, but Turcotte is pulled down, and the Lightning will be penalized at 14:57. Corey Cross heads to the box.
Holding will be the call, and they'll give Winnipeg another power play. They're 1 for 1, but boy, the Lightning had great chances in the offensive zone. Here's the penalty right here. Cross just taking Turcotte down. Again, players are going to do that quite often because you can't bother that player without the puck. Turcotte dropped it off, did the right thing, go right at Corey Cross. Last year, he would have got away with that because he was just taking him out of the play, and obviously Turcotte's going to help things out by going down on the ice. But nonetheless, it's a penalty in the new obstruction rules call.
Chris Gratton has tied this game up at 2 with his second goal of the season. He'll look on as Mikhail Anderson and John Tucker open up with a penalty killing unit in front of Roman Hammerlick and Bill Holder. Shots are 16-6, Chief, here in the first, Tampa Bay.
And this had that mental lapses for, what, 20 seconds, and Winnipeg got into the game.
Jets load up the front of the net. Eastwood on the perimeter. Out to Newman. They've got Olczyk backing into Bergeron. Here's a wrist shot deflected. Olczyk on the rebound, and somehow it stayed out. And it's cleared down the ice by Anderson. Olczyk raised his arm. Somehow that puck stayed out of the net, rolled across the goal line behind Bergeron, and it's still 2-2.
Bergeron got a piece of it. I think that's what helped it. Stay away from the goal line and going over there. Just got, I think, the end of his stick on it.
Newman, 1:20 to go, and Cross is holding penalty. Newman, and shoots, blocked in front. It hit Olczyk. He's battling there with Shaw. Burr gets to the puck, and he fires it down the ice.
You know, this is something. We usually see one guy in front of the net on power plays, but the Jets have done something different. They put 2 guys there. So it makes it very difficult for those defensemen to move them out of there, and with the new rules.
And they just simply look like they're interested in wristing it toward the net and hoping for deflections and let it go from there.
Well, what happens is you got one player there tying up the defenseman. If it drops down in the front of the goaltender, there's another guy right there to pick it up and try for a rebound chance.
Wayne Bonney helps out the Lightning cause. Got his foot in the way of that clearing pass. Cullen trying to cut in. Spins on Quint. He's out-muscled there as Korolev joins the play. Pass across for Seleny. In for Tkachuk. Finn trying to hold him off. Does so. Takes him down. And the puck is cleared by Holder. 20 seconds left on the Jets power play chance. Teemu Seleny starts it in. Met by Ciccone. He leaves it for Quinn. He'll let it go. Kicked out by Bergeron right to Sean Burr. With 6 seconds on the penalty, Mikhail Anderson brings it in. Fires in behind Ciccone as Quinn got a piece of the pass. Cross is out of the box. Lightning at full strength, tied at 2. Korolev shoots in a pass, saved by Bergeron. Korolev and Shaw battle for it. They try to freeze it. And Helleman wants play to continue. Now both players go down. Tkachuk piles on. We got a whistle. 2:47 to go in the first, and the Lightning have tied this game at 2.
Boy, I'll tell you, we talked about how Bergeron just got a piece of it, and again, there it is. Olczyk very close to being in the crease, which would be goaltender interference. But Bergeron got his stick glove on it, and a real nice move to keep this game tied at 2.
Wilkinson with a shot, knocked down by Ronan. Holder gets his stick free to fire it ahead to Klima, and the Lightning bring it out. Bratton has Weimer with him. Chevalier likes to play that puck and does to Stapleton. Holder keeps it in. Bratton going to fight off the check of Stapleton. Errol Shannon ahead for Ed Ronan. Leaves it for Chris King. His pass is picked off by Ciccone, and Chico will ice it. We get the whistle with 2:12 remaining in the first period, tied at 2. Coming up between periods, we will have Chiefs chat with Sean Burr. We'll have the Gatorade scoreboard, and we'll look at highlights and provide you with all the stats. There are plenty of stats from a thrill-a-minute first period here at the Winnipeg Arena.
You know, it was almost similar to the game in Washington when the Lightning had all kinds of scoring opportunities and missed the net. They have connected with 2 goals, but boy, they've had some good chances. And just some real close calls and some fine play by Chevalier have kept this game at 2-2.
Well, you can see that the team has come out very focused in trying to atone for that loss at home to Ottawa on Sunday with an excellent start against the Jets. And you pointed out, Chief, this is a high-powered group. They can score on anybody, and they have so far this year. Errol Shannon's pass picked out of the air by Damon Lankow. Takes on Wilkinson. Tucker brings it in on the backhand. Goal out to Yzerberg, and he just got a piece of it. And it just went wide as Eastwood sends it ahead to Darren Shannon. Finn sends it around to Yzerberg. Finn holds off Eastwood. Will try the other side to Tucker. Tucker will dump it in and head for the bench with 1:18 remaining in the first period. Darren Shannon let that go. This will be icing as Shaw is back. A break for the Lightning late in the period.
It's going to take a little while, and I think the first couple of games, David Shaw along with Bill Holder, I think they struggled with their game conditioning. Shaw, of course, injuring that rotator cuff in training camp and couldn't really do a whole lot. Could ride the bike and maybe skate a little bit, but you know, you can talk about all your dryland training and all your practice time like you want, but nothing gets you in shape quicker than game conditions. Now you see David Shaw will get better and better and better as that conditioning improves, and it has over the last game or so.
Glad you've joined us on Sunshine Network tonight from Winnipeg Arena. We're tied at 2. Rick Beckham, Bobby Taylor, and our producer-director Mike Rubin with you tonight. Lightning win the draw. Shaw's shot doesn't make it through. It hits Silovanov, but it's cleared away by Chevalier. Tkachuk lifts it off the glass and out. A minute to play in the first. Cullen re-enters the zone. He's got Shaw joining the attack. Shaw works against Dolchik. Quinn bumped by Burr. Quinn slides it in behind to his veteran defense partner Dave Manson. He's hounded in there by Silovanov. Good pass to Olczyk. He's got Shane Doan with him. Doan played well by Hammerlin, who wins that one-on-one battle. Cullen has Silovanov cutting out of the zone with 26 seconds to go in the period. Manson takes care of the man, and Chevalier trying to play the puck. His old friend Sean Burr steals, fires in front. Manson took it away from the goal mouth, and his pass was blocked by Silovanov. Manson wants to cover it, gloves it, gave it up to Burr, and it's in front for Lankow and by his stick. Holder. And behind the net to Burr. Almost looked like a handoff from Manson to Burr. And there's the horn to end an entertaining first period here at the Winnipeg Arena. Our score, the Tampa Bay Lightning 2 and the Winnipeg Jets 2. We'll be back with Chiefs Chat with Sean Burr in just a moment.
Scoreboard is brought to you by the Gatorade Company, reminding you if you're not standing on the sidelines, you're going to get thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up. Rangers off and running against the Islanders. 3 different guys on goal scorers there. Edmonton is now surprising New Jersey. Marchment, Seagar, and Oliver. Breland, the only goal scorer for New Jersey. Florida and Chicago are tied at 2. Hull has Juan Jody Hall, that is, not Brett Hall, for Florida. They are off and running. San Jose and Toronto. Toronto, 6 different goals scores in that game for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Calgary leads Detroit 3-2. Fleury a goal for them. Fedorov is on a power play for Detroit to narrow that margin to 1 goal. Boston at St. Louis. Noonan, the only goal scorer for the Blues. Washington and Dallas. Dallas, where the Lightning will end this trip, have goals from Kennedy and Adams. Both power play goals to take that lead over the Washington Capitals. Promotional consideration for some guests are provided by AMC Theaters. The difference is electrifying. We'll be back, Rick Peckham and I, to give you the highlights and action of that whole first period right after these words.
Sunshine Network presents Tampa Bay Lightning Hockey. Tonight's game is brought to you by the excuse-proof people at Delta Business Systems, experts in high volume and color copiers and fax systems. By Toshiba Theater View, as good as television gets. By your local Florida Jeep and Eagle dealers. By HIP Health Plan of Florida, the doctors and programs you want, healthcare that cares about you. By Sheridan Inn, enjoy great food, great friends, and great sports at the Skybox Cafe located at I-4 and Orient Road at the Sheridan Inn, Tampa. And by Seminole Gaming Palace, a lot like Vegas, only closer. As we begin play in the second period, we're tied at 2. J.C. Bergeron out to play the puck. Down to Drake Stola. Quick centering pass for Eastwood. He couldn't take it. Teppo Numminen trying to hold it in. Does so, but only momentarily. Yzerman has it. He's got one of the 2 Lightning goals in this game. Chris Gratton has the other. Numminen back for it. Pressured by Tucker. Play kept in. Holder lets the shot go. A save. Langkow on the rebound. Langkow in behind for Yzerman. He's checked by Darren Shannon. Tucker trying to pry it loose. Numminen takes over. Makes the pass up the middle to Eastwood. 3-man rush as it's dumped to the corner. Holder gets there ahead of Darren Shannon. Yzerman has it. He saw Damon Langkow coming back. And the Lightning quickly back at a 3-on-2, but they're at the end of a shift. So Gary Crisp and company will change it up. Quint bangs it off the boards. Sonati is offside, so he can't touch it. Bergeron does. Korolev trying to center it. It's played to center ice by Weimer. Driven back in by Turcotte. Hammerlick comes by for it. Pressured by Korolev. Sonati, and it's stripped away by Weimer. Hammerlick cuts in. Teemu Sonati takes over. 76 goals scored in his rookie year. Now in his 4th season in the NHL, Darren Quint hangs onto it, backhands toward the net, cut off by Hammerlick. Out come the Lightning, Chris Gratton, rushed by Manson. Hammerlick joins the rush, but Turcotte got to the pass. The pass to Celanese behind it. He picks it up, winds and fires, and it's deflected by Shaw over the glass and out of play. It's the Discover card between period stats, brought to you by the Discover card. It pays to discover the card that pays you back. We look at some numbers for the first period of play.
Right, take a look at the scoring chances. The Lightning had a ton of them, as you see there. Of the 16 shots, 10 were pretty good scoring chances, limiting the Jets to just 5. Turnovers again on the low side for the Lightning, and that's what they really wanted to concentrate on as well, as getting some shots on goals. Limit those turnovers, and they did a good job of it.
Lightning came out firing. They outshot the Jets 8-3 early in the hockey game, and taking a 1-0 lead on a goal by Paul Yzerman. And Winnipeg tied it and led 2 goals in 26 seconds. The Lightning came back to tie it up with a goal by Chris Gratton. Jet goals by Igor Korolev and Dallas Drake in that first period. Stephen Finn clears the front of his net. Cross pulled down by Olczyk. Play continues. Olczyk gets to the puck. Now it's taken by Doan. Shane Doan couldn't get it toward the net as Cross and Cullen went to work on him. And the Lightning worked the puck out of trouble. Finn, 9-year veteran. Calmly gets it to Burr. Now Cullen starts it in. Drops it off for Silivanov. Backhands in front and Cullen couldn't take it. Burr Quickly, Silivanov shoots and a pad save by Cheveldae off the Cullen pass. Cullen checked by Wilkinson. Errol Shannon in there behind, trying to get it by Holder. He's holding his ground pretty well. Finally outnumbered as Doan picks it up. Cuts in with Tkachuk. Looking for Tkachuk. The pass broken up by Silivanov, and it dribbled right through the front of the net. Sean Burgess gets rid of it. We'll have an icing called here against the Lightning. Join Lightning radio personality Larry Hirsch for Sports Night at the Skybox Cafe on Wednesday, October 25th from 6 to 7 p.m. Larry will be joined by a special Lightning guest. The Skybox Cafe, located in the Sheridan Inn at I-4 and Orient Road, for great friends, food, and sports. Rick Peckham, Bobby Taylor, and our producer-director Mike Rubin with you tonight on Sunshine Network. The Lightning and the Winnipeg Jets at Winnipeg Arena, a 2-2 tie. Quick centering pass by Mike Stapleton, taken over by the Lightning as Anderson sends it into the skates of Bellows. Recovered by King. Newman belted by Bellows. Ronan tries to burrow under Holder down the boards. That didn't work. Aaron Gavians met in a solid hit by Stapleton. Bellows fires it out of the zone. Cheveldae out to play the puck. Bellows over for. Trying to set it up for Ciccone. Taken away by Stapleton. Racing down the wing. Lets it go. And Shaw got a piece of it. Ciccone sends it off the boards and out to center ice. Jason Doig, second-round draft pick. They acquired the pick from Montreal for Stefan Quintal and then used it to take a Montreal native, Jason Doig. Of course, the big shakeup in Montreal earlier today. Managing director Serge Savard, player personnel director Andre Boudrian, head coach Jacques Demers relieved of their duties with the Canadiens. Here's Drake. Shooting stick save by Bergeron. The rebound sent wide by Darren Shannon. Drake. On the backhanded in front. Chased by Shaw. Taken down by Shaw. They both go down. Cover the puck. Van Helleman blows the whistle. As Darren Shannon and Mikhail Anderson collide. We're tied at 2 early in the second.
He got the one goal, almost got another. Watch how he walks out of the corner. And again, that's that interference, so to speak, as Darren Shannon just right to the net. And they set a screen on those defensemen, and the defensemen are helpless for stopping those guys from coming to the net behind them. It's almost like a lead block on a running back.
And Darren Shannon's a pretty good player for something like that. Along the boards in front of the net, uses his body pretty well.
He's got good size.
Wilkinson checked by Tucker. Eisenbart cuts it front, trying to stuff it home. He's stopped by Cheveldae. Trying to get it on the net. It's got it by Lankow just wide. Damon with 3 shots on goal and his first NHL point in the form of an assist in the first period. Has been looking good here at Winnipeg Arena tonight. Out comes Eastwood. Left wing pass for Drake. Damon's older brother is a goaltender in the Winnipeg organization, playing with the Springfield Falcons in the American Hockey League. His older brother Scott. Here's a drive that's fired for the point just wide by Manson. And the Lightning will ice it with Manson touching up. Check out the Lightning voucher plan. For the price of 10 tickets, you receive 11 tickets to use in any combination and for any games you wish. Visit the ticket table in Fanland or call the Lightning ticket office at 813-229-8800.
J.C. Bergeron getting the start tonight. Again, we point out Pupa not 100%, about 90% with a burn on his shoulder. That puck he got hit on the shoulder almost created a burn up there. It's like taking a file, Larry Ness saying this morning, to your shoulder and rubbing it on the skin.
Chris Gratton held up by the Winnipeg defense. It's poked just out of the reach of Jason Weimer. Cheveldae winds it around. Gratton right there. Sends it rink wide. Well, Pupa came in for about a minute or less, replacing Bergeron after the Jets scored 2 in 26 seconds. And Terry Crisp reinserted JC midway through the period. And he's continued on in this 2-2 tie. Gratton with a pass for Klima, busting in. It just spun off his stick. Centers off the pads of Cheveldae. Not unlike the winning goal scored against Montreal at Thunderdome against Patrick Waugh and the Canadiens. As Hammerlick backhands it in. Shovelday was a little more alert on that play.
They can handcuff a goaltender sometimes, as we saw it did with Patrick Roy, and you don't expect the guy to shoot that puck at your feet.
Breton on the rush. It's a 4-on-3 for the Lightning. The pass is tipped, but Holder has it. In deep to Solovanov. Checked by Korolev. Solovanov shakes free, and the backhand through skates. It's just off Doig, left skated wide. And Solovanov goes tumbling to the ice as Korolev picks it up. Korolev picked up off the waiver wire from the Blues at the beginning of last season. Wasn't in the good graces of John Paddock the first half of the year, but came on with a strong second half, and he's off to a 6-goal start in 6 games this year. Shane Doan looked for Olczyk. He couldn't take it. Doig fires. Blocked in front. Nice play by the veteran Berg. Off the side of the goal. Tkachuk keeps it alive. Olczyk couldn't center. He's grabbed by Cross. Keith Tkachuk lost the handle to Cullen. Berg. And it poked away by Newman. And Tkachuk is leveled by Corey Cross. And Tkachuk doesn't like that. When you talk about players with their head down, Tkachuk had his head up. Now Cullen spins Tkachuk to the ice. We'll have a penalty with Ciccone hitting the ice. Tied at 2 in the second period.
Since Southwest Airlines is new to the Tampa Bay area, we thought...
Wow, Corey Cross made a big hit on Tkachuk. Keith Tkachuk went up to keep the play in, and here's the big hit. And Cross really knocking Tkachuk down. And then after that's when the penalty occurred. Here's the one right here. Olczyk pulling it down Enrico Ciccone. There's the call, and there comes Cullen right at the top of your screen there, and he grabs the Winnipeg Jet around the neck and bulldogs him away from the puck. So they both end up with holding calls coming at 7:27.
4-on-4 in this lightning quick arena. Should be interesting. Here comes Newman and cutting to the net. Saved by Bergeron. The rebound handled by Shaw. Right from the draw, the Jets get a chance. David Lankow. Hammerlick takes his time and now has plenty of room to bring it out. Looking to connect with Yzerman. Newman takes it. Just over 12 minutes to go in the second period. 2-2 our score. All the scoring in the first period. Shots are 19-14 for the game, favoring Tampa Bay. Mike Eastwood held up by Shaw, keeps going, and the Lightning defense take over on the puck. Now Shaw throws his man Drake into the boards. Lankow gets the rush underway. Surrounded by Jets. Played aside by Shovelday. Klima hops over the boards to join the Lightning. Now shoots, a save by Shovelday. Shovelday and Klima, old teammates. I'm sure Shovelday saw Klima coming off the bench, and he picked him up right away, and a good scoring chance, but Shovelday was ready for it.
Well, these boards will give you some crazy bounces, but you got to really be aware of them. Right now, you see the puck coming through. But he tried to kick it back. He did. He kicked it out in the front, and then Klima just came in and took a big shot. What was nice about that save by Shovelday is it came through his own defenseman. It was nice and low, and it created a screen, but he had pretty strong concentration on that play and kept this game deadlocked at 2.
52 seconds remaining on the penalties to Cullen and Olczyk. 48 seconds now as the Jets bring it ahead. Holder misses Klima. Karem's in deep in the Winnipeg zone. Lightning have Bratton and Klima in front of Finn and Holder. The Jets counter with Sonani and Tkachuk. Manson and Quint. Tkachuk missed most of that Finn elbow. Klima held up by Manson. Darren Quint winds, disrupted from behind by Gratton. And the Tampa Bay quartet of skaters take over. As the 7 seconds remaining of the penalty. Spin held up. Here's somebody shooting off the inside of the post, and it stayed out. Wow. Seleny overtaken by Klima. The penalized players, Olczyk and Cullen, have returned. The team's at full strength. The pass ahead for Cullen. Steps in against Manson, leaves it for Gratton. Now fires toward the net, and King tipped it away from Klima. Cullen works against Roden. Stapleton Sends it in deep in the Tampa Bay zone. This is icing. With 10:07 remaining here in the second period. Rico Ciccone and the Lightning getting the early lead and rebounding from a 2-1 deficit to tie this game in the first.
Well, Chico got hit on the knee and missed that game against Ottawa, but what you got to be careful of is when you're the last man back in the zone. Actually, that was when Grattan came back, and really nice defensive play when Quinn was trying to make a big play at the start. And just after that is when Finn was trying to carry the puck up the ice and tried to stick handle past Solani, who stole it from him and got a great shot away. Good scoring chance.
I'll have to check that post for a dent. He really nailed it. Still looking for his first goal of the season. Teemu Solani. Daryl Shannon picks up the puck on the Jets defense. Chris King. Puck dribbles to Ciccone. He sails it off the top of the glass, and it caroms up into the seats. With 9:40 to go in the second.
Just to further that story, Ciccone got hit with a shot just above the knee in the Washington Capital game, and it really ballooned up on him. He could really hardly walk coming home to Tampa Bay, and then of course on Sunday it was bad enough that he couldn't go. He missed that debacle against the Senators, and he's back in here tonight. The swelling gone down. He always looks like he has the longest stick on the team, and I asked him about that. I said, you know, is your stick the longest? He's actually no. He says it's the second longest. Eric Sharon has about an inch longer stick than I, but I guess Ciccone must have longer arms than Eric. It looks like his stick's got to be 80 inches long.
Well, Eric at 6'3", certainly has the range for a stick like that. Ciccone 6'5". Yzerbar shovels it into the slot. It's taken over by Drake. Hammerlick plays it back into the attacking zone. Goy gets checked there by Yzerbar. Hammerlick gathers it in. Roman with 5 assists to lead the team in scoring. 4 of those assists coming in the power play. Pass is picked off by Cross. Newman has it back. Ahead for Drake. Cuts in. He's got Eastwood with him. Had trouble getting to the pass. Hammerlick did. He hands it to the youngster Lankow. Taken away by Drake. Eastwood in front. Scores! Eastwood stayed with it. And off the turnover at the side of the goal, Winnipeg takes the lead 3-2.
Wow, this is one of the times where Lankow's played such a strong game, and this time instead of getting the puck away very quickly or putting it up the boards, he wanted to make sure somebody was there, and nobody was, and he just took his time, and a nice effort on the part of Dallas Drake to strip the puck. And then Lightning are guilty of turning the puck over. There you see it comes right out in front. And again, that's the way you can't take that man out physically who doesn't have the puck. And Eastwood puts it home for his 3rd of the year. And the Jets take the lead again.
Good start to the season for Eastwood as we get a whistle for an icing call. 3-2, the Jets in front.
There's no place on earth that I'd rather be than out in the open where it's
of Tampa Bay Lightning hockey on Sunshine Network is brought to you in part by Pizza Hut, home of the new pepperoni and cheese stuffed crust pizza. You'll love the stuff we're made of. Pizza Hut.
Well, the Lightning have done a pretty good job of limiting the chances for this Jet Hockey Club that gets a ton of them. As we pointed out, second highest goal-scoring team in the league at this point of the season. Only 6 shots in this period, but Eastwood picks up number 3 to give the Jets back the lead at 3-2.
Bratton wins the draw. Holder chops at the puck. Korolev went down, had his stick chopped away. Gets up, I think his left hand smarting a little bit from that play. Seleny into Tkachuk, and it's taken away by Ciccone around to Weimer, and it sails over the glass and out of play.
One of the things that they really try to do on Monday with their meetings, you see Jason Weimer getting more ice time, is that, you know, so much has been talked about this season about if you play hard and play well, you'll get to play. If you don't, then you're going to sit and other guys are going to get in that game. One guy they don't have to worry about is Peter Klima. He's probably been the best forward for this Lightning club right through training camp as well as the first part of the season.
the draw, the shot by Quint, and it's deflected wide. Turcotte tried to center. Turcotte gets it back, drops it toward the net. Grattan took it away. Ciccone ahead for Klima. Lead pass for Weimer is broken up by Quint. Bergeron winds it around the boards. Klima right there. Peter carries it in. Solani checked by Klima. Grattan in deep. As it's backhanded by Weaver off the goaltender Cheveldae, and it nearly dribbled in between his legs. Cheveldae realized it was there and covered it right at the goal line.
Boy, we've seen some strange happenings around both goals. This looked like a very innocent play. You can see 4 Winnipeg Jets back there with just 3 Lightning players. Grattan getting it to Weaver, who just backhanded a bouncing puck one-handed, but there you see it almost getting through the 5-hole on Cheveldae. And again, here's a real good angle on it. Jace Weaver just bouncing the puck. It hit the side of the net, up behind the back of the leg, and just about over the goal line, or else we might have had a tied hockey game.
Against the Lightning, a 3-2 record for Cheveldae. But if Weaver had scored there, it would have looked like a slap shot for the point in the box score. I think he'd have taken that.
You bet. They don't ask you how, just how many.
That's right. Puck shot in by Olczyk. 7.5 to go, second period. 3-2 Winnipeg leads. Shaw. As Burr couldn't pick up the pass. This will be icing with Newman in back. Coming up on Sunshine Network, we'll have the Orlando Magic in action against the Miami Heat at 7:30. So join us right here for Orlando Magic basketball on Sunshine Network.
Look at the new coach for the Heat, Pat Riley.
That's right.
I bet he'll be on the tube a lot. But right now it's a 3-2 lead for the Winnipeg Jets. We have 7:20 remaining in the second period.
Doig's shot was blocked by Burr. Out he comes. Lead pass too far in front of Sedovanov. Cheveldae strays to play the puck. Cullen over for it. Throws it into the goal mouth. Cheveldae got a stick on that. Shane Doan cuts in. Tkachuk just beat him across the line. And we get the whistle there. Keith Tkachuk, boy, his stock is rising around the league as one of the top power forwards in the game.
Well, a big controversy though here in Winnipeg with his signing. They got a big contract. They weren't sure that he was going to be here. In fact, the management thought he was definitely going to be gone, either as a free agent or maybe in a trade. There was even some question about his conditioning, and yet they really put that to sleep. They say that he's one of the top 3 or 4 conditioned athletes on this team, and I think they were just upset with him. Not only that, upset with the team moving, but upset with Tkachuk wanting to go elsewhere, and they were just trying to look for little things to justify a lot of things that really weren't happening.
Well, like his highly paid line mate Solani, he's looking for his first goal of the season. As the Lightning trying to move it out of their own end, Gavey hangs in there against Ronan along the boards. Finn has it. Out for Bellows. Daryl Shannon back, pursued by Gavey. And down goes Shannon on the collision with the youngster. Finn bounces one to the corner. Wilkinson with a pass for King, taken over by Finn. Bill Holder. King gets a piece of that. Gavey grabs it. The 21-year-old with a pass ahead for Mikhail Anderson, shut off by Daryl Shannon. Drake pushing it back into his own zone to Neil Wilkinson. Game settling down in terms of scoring chances.
Well, you know, the Lightning have to play a strong defensive game. Winnipeg is trying to get there because they know they give up too many goals at this point.
Wilkinson gets position on the youngster Langkow on the boards. Drake slides into Daryl Shannon. Darren Shannon had it worked away by Yzerbark. Yzerbark hustles to the line, but the puck rolled over it, so they'll regroup at center. Daryl Shannon's clearing attempt, intercepted by Yzerbark. Back to Shaw, shooting, and it's just wide of Cheveldae. Ciccone On the board for Eisenbach. Get some help from Tucker as they go to work on the Shannon boys. However, the Jets escape with a puck. Dallas Drake. Ciccone plays the man effectively. Lankow going to keep it moving. He's shut off, though, by Eastwood. As Tucker waiting. You know where to find him, right at his post on the wing. Tucker puts it in the corner. Newman chased by Eisenbach. And the outlet is broken up as Eisenbach keeps it in deep. The Lightning get fresh legs on for the bench. Puck shoveled away by Darren Shannon. Shaw right there. Cross-ice pass to Klima off the shaft of his stick, and the play is offside. 4:31 to go in the second. Winnipeg leads 3-2.
How much of a gourmet meal can I
By Sunshine Network and the Tampa Bay Lightning, and is intended solely for the private non-commercial use of our audience. Any public reproduction, retransmission, or other use of the pictures, descriptions, and accounts of the game without the express written consent of Sunshine Network and the Tampa Bay Lightning is strictly prohibited. Chris Gratton turns defense into offense for the Lightning. Wise fakes the shot, throws it on the net, and it's stopped by Chevelday as Gratton was trying to throw off the goalie a little bit and get Weimer a chance to drive to the net.
You know, that's one of the things they picked up on the tapes watching Winnipeg is the defense of the Jets really back up quickly, and Gratton tried faking that big shot and had everybody back off the blue line, and then he just pulled it back in and carried it over the line and then took a quick shot, tried to find the 5-hole. But smart play by Gratton. Usually in years past he would have given that big shot there. That time he didn't, and made a better play.
Good discipline on the part of Weimer. 9 times out of 10 the winger will go offside when you get that big fake of the shot outside the blue line, but Weimer hung on to the line and did not go offside, so the play could carry on. Shaw shoots it in. Manson around to Solani. Errant pass by Korolev. Shaw catches up to it. Manson takes it. And a stick handle through teammates. They all got mixed up. All got bunched up at the line and they went offside.
Here's a guy that really stock was very, very high when he was a member of the Chicago Blackhawks. Was involved in a big trade going to Edmonton and made a ton of money. Ended up coming here to the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets needed some grit and some muscle back on that blue line. And you know, in years past, this Winnipeg Jet team has always been a high-scoring team, more on the finesse sides. They've had a tremendous amount of Europeans playing for it. When John Paddock became general manager, he wanted to get more grit into the lineup, and one of the ways of doing that, he made a trade to get Manson.
Manson playing for a coach who knows him very well. Terry Simpson coached him in junior at Prince Albert in a highly successful program there, and they won a Memorial Cup together. Here's Doig firing from the point. It's blocked by Burr. He gets in the way of a lot of shots from the point. And out come the Lightning. It's Cullen racing down the wing. Looking for cross cutting to the net. It bounced off the pads of Chevelday. And the Jets working out of trouble. Corey Cross jumping into the attack. Burr back for it. Collides with Tkachuk. Cullen picks it up and he will sail it down the ice. And he was rocked in the hit by Shane Doan. Both teams changing up. Doan trying to cut in on Finn. Holder keeps Olczyk away from the puck. Stapled it in on Cullen. Olczyk fires it to Stapleton. He's got Olczyk shooting and he missed the net. Another great chance for Ed Olczyk and he missed the net. He was robbed in the first period by J.C. Bergeron. Olczyk to Stapleton. Trying to push it through the defense. He couldn't get it by Finn. Gaby at the point. Nice play to tip it to Selivanov. Selivanov races and shoots. Chevelday didn't know where it was. Reaches to find it and cover it for the whistle.
There's been a couple of scary moments for Tim Chevelday when they've taken that shot between the pads, and he was able to get them close very quickly. Watch how Selivanov comes back in and then just snaps a quick shot trying to find that 5-hole. Chevelday not exactly sure where it was. He felt the pressure of the puck. He wasn't sure though if he had all of it. Of course, if you don't know where it is, that's the first thing you better look for is Vincent behind you.
Look at those scoring chances.
Boy, I know. A lot of those 14 have missed the net.
As you pointed out, Chief, The Lightning had a bushel full of them and more against the Caps, so they can't complain about their scoring chances on the road so far this year. They've had plenty of them. They just got to cash in at a few. Of course, they start a 3-game road trip tonight. Travel to Chicago to meet the Blackhawks on Sunshine Network Thursday night. And then on the Tampa Bay Lightning Television Network, we'll bring you the Lightning and Dallas Stars on Saturday night. You can join us for all the games along this trip. Chris King puts the puck to the corner. Ronan, just signed last week as a free agent. And the puck dug away. Now Ronan gets it back again. Ronan on the backhand wraparound, stopped by Bergeron as he dropped to his knee and got his left leg on that one. Wilkinson fans on the shot. Here's a pass to Bellows. Wilkinson in pursuit. Bellows on the backhand. Saved by Shovelday. And Bellows and Wilkinson go tumbling heavily into the boards. McHale Anderson tripped up by Stapleton. And the Jets will get a call. The Lightning will have a power play late in the second period with 1:15 remaining.
Well, I'll tell you, both teams are getting some pretty good opportunities. And again, a lot of it has to do with the obstruction calls. The players can't really get a hold of those people as they're going in. And Lightning getting a good turnover at the blue line. Anderson trying to kick it up there. And there you see Stapleton getting his stick caught in Anderson's skate. Down he goes. And the Lightning will get their second power play. Not a whole lot of penalties being called by Andy Van Hellemond, at least the kind that give you power plays. This is only the Lightning's second power play of the game. And the Jets have had 2 as well.
Coming up, second intermission. Chief visited with Lightning Governor David Lefebvre earlier in the week to get an update on the Ice Palace. So you won't want to miss that. We'll have that between periods. The Gatorade scoreboard, highlights and stats all coming your way. But first things first, Lightning on the power play. Blankow gets an opportunity in the man advantage unit along with Yzerbark. Here's Hammerlich shooting and missing the net. Third forward is Gratton, who gets the pass, quickly trying to release the shot. A minute to go in the second. Klima battling at the point with Drake. Lightning keep the play alive. Rink wide pass. Gratton trying to get it in front. He couldn't sneak it behind Newman, who cleared. Good chance to tie this game up before the intermission for Tampa Bay. Hammerlich cruises out of his own end. Clear sailing to the line. Pass picked off by Tkachuk. And Tkachuk just about ran over Andy Van Hellemond, trying to get him out of the way. But the Lightning start the rush again. Blankow takes on Newman. Blankow's pass goes right through the goal mouth. Hammerlich holds his ground. Yzerbark sails it over Klima's stick. Hammerlich settles it down. Yzerbark has Blankow behind the net. Gratton in front. Blankow looking for Gratton, poked away. Manson had it, and now they get the horn as a mix-up for the Jets. I've got it, you take it. In the final seconds of the second period, Terry Crisp and the Lightning will still have 44 seconds of power play time when we start the third period. But right back and join us for our second intermission activities with Winnipeg leading 3-2.
All right, what do you think about a story about how Roger Clemens has lost?
Today as the main course, the Eastern Conference champion Orlando Magic is back, along with the Miami Heat. Watch out, the plate is hot. Cool down on seconds from the NHL with the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. And from the IHL, the Orlando Solar Bears. Ready for a break? Well, sit back and enjoy college football from the Southwest Conference and the Pac-10. There's sure to be a hit, so take your seat at the table. There's a lot to give thanks for this November on Sunshine.
Scoreboard is brought to you by the Gatorade Company, reminding you if you're not standing on the sidelines, you're going to get thirsty. Life is a sport, so drink it up. Rangers got their fourth goal from Nemchinov to up their lead to 4-0 over the Islanders. Chicago and Florida in a real hot 3-3 game going now on into the third period. Hella, the power play goal for the Florida Panthers to tie that game. Edmonton still leading New Jersey after 2 periods of play. And Toronto is really bombing San Jose. I said there were 6 different scores. Well, Momesso and Gardner have 2 goals apiece for the Leafs. Calgary and Detroit. Darren McCarty has scored for the Red Wings to tie that game up in the third period. And Washington and Dallas. Washington has finally scored. Mike Eagles has got the goal. Boston also has got a goal from Roloff, the young player tying the game on the power play. As you see there, Boston and St. Louis are deadlocked at 1 apiece. We'll be back with the highlights and action of that second period, Rick and I, right after we pause for these messages.
Sunshine Network presents Tampa Bay Lightning Hockey. Brought to you by Recreational Factory Warehouse, Tampa Bay's #1 choice for all your home recreation needs for over 20 years. By your Suncoast GMC dealers. By Seminole Gaming Palace, a lot like Vegas, only closer. By Discover Card, it pays to discover, the card that pays you back. By the Everything Pages directory from GTE. And by Boston Market. Visit your neighborhood Boston Market today. Winnipeg leading 3-2 to start the third period as the Lightning have the power play for another 40 seconds on the penalty to Mike Stapleton for tripping. Only the Lightning's second opportunity. A turnover. Here comes Drake in alone, shorthanded. He scores! At the 15-second mark, Dallas Drake has scored Winnipeg's third shorthanded goal of the season, and it's now a 4-2 Jet lead.
Again, unforced error at the blue line, unassisted. Lankow tried to give that back pass to the defenseman or player playing there, Peter Klima. Drake right there, stepped right in. Here's a better shot of it right here. Lankow did not see Drake. He thought he was going to come to this side. Tried to give it to Klima. Drake came right in and beat Bergeron with a shorthanded goal, and that's Drake's second of this game, his fourth on the season. And then the Lightning are down by 2.
And 2 of his 4 goals have come in shorthanded situations. Still 24 seconds to go in the Stapleton penalty. As Drake scores here, unassisted. Shaw enters the zone, and it's poked out to center ice by Dallas Drake. Holder works with Shaw. Yzerbark, Lankow, and Tucker up front. Stapleton set to rejoin the action. Yzerbark shovels the pass up the board. Jets are now back to full strength, and while shorthanded, they've increased their lead to 4-2. Tkachuk with a lead pass broken up by Holder. Taken by Yzerbark. His pass was tipped away by Newman. Shane Doan is belted at the line by Tucker. Lightning re-enter. Yzerbark puts it in deep. Cheveldae keeps it moving. Cross is there. Has Tucker who centers. And the pass goes awry. It's picked up by Finn at center ice. Cross to Yzerbark. A number of guys who played together in the Detroit organization, including Cheveldae and a handful of Lightning players. Klima, Yzerbark, Sean Burr, Olczyk backhands the puck in deep in the Lightning zone. Klima's there. It's by Grattan. Waiting at the point was Daryl Shannon. And Olczyk for Darren Turcotte. Shane Doan bumped out of there by Corey Cross using his 6'5", 220-pound frame. Good pass ahead for Weimer. Weimer looks from the angle, goes to Klima. The pass is just by his stick. He was looking at an open net. Doan surrounded by Lightning. Surrenders the puck. The Jets change it up behind him. We've played 2 minutes in the third period. The Jets have already scored a shorthanded goal by Dallas Drake. David Shaw gains the red line and dumps it in. Daryl Shannon ahead for Chris King, another ex-Red Wing from that era. All these players were in Detroit at the same time. Bergeron keeps it moving around for Burr. Fires the rink-wide pass right on the stick to Selovanov, but Jason Doig has it pretty well tied up. King goes rink-wide in front of Newman and fired it off the glass by Grattan. Barry Crisp will change it up. Burr and Selovanov now joined by Cullen as Holder shoots it into the attacking zone. Around for John Cullen. His pass tipped by Newman and comes out over the line. Burr shoots it into the zone. Cheveldae off the glass. Taken by Newman. Now to Stapleton. Slowed up by Holder. Newman's pass also dug away by number 2, Bill Holder. Jets changing it up. Burr in for Cullen. Dropping it. Selovanov lost the handle on it. It's kept on the line by Holder. Cullen has Burr behind, and it goes to him. Return pass stolen by Darren Shannon. 3-man rush as Selovanov rushing back to even it out of a 3-on-3. Darren Shannon hooks it to Drake. Throws it in behind to Eastwood. Puts it in front. Nobody home. Daryl Shannon's pass is tipped away by Ciccone. Drake fires, and it's blocked by Selovanov. Eastwood had it taken away by Silovanov. He sheds a check, grabs the puck, and looks to make his play. Silovanov has been out there a long time.
Well, watch those long shifts, especially when you get caught inside your defensive zone.
Finn, chased by Darren Shannon. Bellows hands it across. He's got Anderson busting up the wing. McHale had it poked away by Daryl Shannon. Quickly the Jets on the attack. And that is stopped just as quickly by Stephen Finn. Anderson's pass is tipped away by Seleny, out of play. 15:42 to go. Third period, 4-2 Jets.
Giving the Jets that 2-goal cushion here in the third period.
Chief, I got to tell you, in some parts of the NHL, number 8 is known as Teemu Selänne. Now, we talked to him this morning to get this story straight. He says it's Selänne. It's Selänne in Finland. He wants Selänne because he's here in North America. So trying to adjust. Here's Mikhail Anderson out of the corner. Shoots, and he sends it wide. Finn bounces it behind the net. Bellows couldn't pick it up. Anderson does. Outmaneuvers Daryl Shannon. Gets it to Gaby, shooting, and he just fired it wide. He had a bouncing puck there as Anderson was spilled away for the play and will have an interference called against Winnipeg.
Boy, what a chance. Aaron Gaby had the best chance of this early season to get his first goal as Anderson set him up perfectly in front of the net. And again, a scoring chance, misses the net. Watch this play here. You see at the top, that's where Aaron Gaby, he sits himself, gives Anderson a good chance. Here it is, bang. And it was a bouncing puck, but he got it away quickly and just missed the far post. The Lightning would have crept within 1 goal.
Well, third power play chance for the Lightning. Daryl Shannon goes for interference. The Lightning would certainly like to celebrate their first game against a Western Conference opponent since April the 1st, 1994, with a come from behind win tonight. Very crisp. And the Lightning down 4-2 here in the third period. They're going to get busy in a hurry here with this man advantage. Hansen fires it off the boards and out to center. Of course, with a shortened schedule due to the lockout last year, the teams played 48 games and just played within their conferences, so the Lightning didn't see the Jets last season. Holder, great move, cuts into the zone. Leaves it for Cullen. He draws the attention of Manson. Pass in deep now. They're trying to throw it out toward the point, and Drake stole it, and he clears it down the ice. 1:25 to go on the penalty. Lightning came in 8th best in the NHL, 20% with a man advantage. Holder sends it up the boards. Gratton trying to get there. Manson had the angle, and Selänne shoots it down the ice. Shots are 27-19 favoring Tampa Bay. Score, though, is 4-2 Winnipeg. Silovanov gaining steam, trying to turn the corner. Sends it back to Hammerlick. As it returned to him. Gratton with Cullen in the slot. Gratton trying to create some movement in this penalty-killing box of the Winnipeg Jets. Silovanov back to Gratton. Goes across to Klima, and it was read by Selänne. Breaks it up, but it's 2-on-1 short-handed with Tkachuk. Selänne trying to go to Tkachuk. The pass tipped, and Bergeron just played it away from Tkachuk as he tried to jam it home. 24 seconds remaining on the power play for the Lightning. Brian Bellows has 2 men coming off the bench joining the play. However, Tkachuk broke up the pass, and he high-sticked Bellows on top of it. Cullen to Gratton. To Bellows, and the pass in tight as he shoveled it just wide. Hammerlick. Bellows chopping at it. Played away by Manson. Hammerlick lets it go. That's deflected. Penalty's over. Here's Klima cutting in on the backhand. Forced wide by Chevalier as the Jets are back to full strength with their 4-2 lead intact. King will force the Lightning all the way back. Brian Bellows, who picked up his first Tampa Bay point, assisting on the game-opening goal scored by Paul Yzerbark. Ciccone shovels it to Holder. 12:40 to go in the third. 2-goal lead for Winnipeg, but they've been involved in a number of games where they've had the lead or come back from a 2-goal deficit. 2 goals don't mean anything to this Winnipeg team.
You can get your chances. We've seen that throughout the game. The number of open chances that the Lightning have had through giveaways or forced errors inside the Winnipeg zone, and they got to capitalize on them, though.
Jets up by 2.
You ever hear anyone talk about life like you gotta chew it up and spit it out? You gotta want it so bad you can taste it. You gotta be hungry. If so, Gatorade has one question for you. You want something to drink with that? Because you're gonna be thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up.
Introducing a new luxury vehicle with the most powerful V8 in its class, dual airbags, and the ability to take you where no luxury car can. The new Jeep Grand Cherokee Limited. With over 40 major advancements, it's truly the perfect luxury vehicle for whatever nature unveils.
There's only one Jeep, and only at your Florida Jeep and Eagle dealer.
Back at Winnipeg Arena, it's 4-2 Jets. The Ice Palace, future home of the Lightning, is under construction and scheduled to open its doors in fall 1996 and has 7 levels, which will provide excellent viewing of hockey action. For more information, stop by the display in Fanland or call 223-4919. Jets escape the zone. Eastwood, checked by Damon Lankow. Hangs in there. Physically, he's not as big as a lot of these Jets, but he's been right in there, trading bumps. Out comes Lankow with good speed across the line. Couldn't center against Newman. Lankow still with the play. Jason Doig takes over in the puck. Broken up by John Tucker. A diving Lankow pokes it to Eisebart. Lankow right back up, trying to leave it for Tucker. Newman, always solid on the Winnipeg defense, got it away to Darren Shannon. Ciccone. Chief, at what point do the Lightning really have to start gambling here?
Well, you got 11.5 minutes. There's still a chance. You can't take too many chances. But I think when you get around the 8-minute mark, 7-minute mark, you're going to have to be a little bit more offensively.
Burr looks for Cullen. Tip back to Shaw. The shot is blocked by Solani. Korolev looking to spring Solani, but Finn broke that up. Finn shoots it into the corner. Cheveldae's been pretty effective handling the puck tonight. Penalty upcoming against the Lightning. Silovanov touches it up. And we'll have a call here at the 9-minute mark against
Manson. Manson took down. Yeah, Manson took down Burr.
It might go the other way.
Boy, I'll tell you, this I think was where Andy Van Hellemond might have missed it. He's saying that it was Burr taking down Manson, and it was the other way around. It'll be interference no matter what. It was away from the play, as you see at the top of your screen. Burr going right in there. Now here's Burr grabbing, or Manson coming a hold of Burr, putting him down, and Burr gets the penalty. You figure that one out.
Even up?
Yeah, we talked about we talked so often about you go right at that defenseman and force him to make a play or make a move, and that's what Burr did. He did make the play, make the move, but unsportsmanlike. He must have been upset with Andy Van Hellemond's on call on the play.
Here's a drive by Shaw, just missing the net from center ice. Could they have called a dive on that?
Might have.
There's no signal for it.
Solani got called for a dive in the last game against Detroit. And they call it unsportsmanlike conduct, and maybe that's what he's calling.
I don't see how he could have, but unsportsmanlike conduct, what else could it have been? Because it was a delayed penalty, unless Burr went by with a sharp comment for Andy Van Hellemond and got the penalty for that. What else could it have been?
Have to be for a dive. Very crisp looking now. He wants to make sure that they get their offense going. As you see there, only one. They've outshot the Jets 28-20 in the game in this point, but they've only picked up one shot in the first part of this third period, and that's something you've got to rectify. You got to start shooting the puck a little bit more. Making a comeback, you're down by 2. The shots have to come.
Well, as we've seen, especially in that second period, Cheveldae has had his shaky moments. Certainly, you got to be thinking, get it on the net when that's the case, but the Jets have tightened it up here a little bit in the third period. Jets have the power play. They're 1 of 2. Their third opportunity here. They're unable to set up. Midway through the third period, a minute to go on Burr's penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. Gavey and Tucker take a turn on the shorthanded unit in front of Hammerlick and Holder. The lead pass for Korolev, dropping it back for Tkachuk. Back to Korolev with Goldmouth, and Solani just shot it wide. It was a great opportunity for him to get his first goal of the year. And fortunately for the Lightning and their fans, he missed. 33 seconds remaining on Burr's penalty. Out comes Darren Quint. Quint shoots it in. Bergeron can't get to it. Olczyk threw it to the point. They were changing there. Newman was coming on. He had to get back to the bench. They would have had a too many men of the ice penalty, and the Jets dodged a bullet there.
They had 2 guys jump over the net, over the boards, and both of them went back.
Jaron Shannon. Solani has Olczyk coming down the middle, and he missed another opportunity. It's clear down the ice.
Well, that's 2 big chances that Olczyk has had up the slot near the end of the second period and here again in the third.
Penalty's over as Burr has joined the play. The Lightning have survived the shorthanded situation, though still down a couple. Manson grabs the puck and he'll just ice it. And the Lightning will get organized with a draw in the offensive zone. 8:35 to go in the third. 4-2 Winnipeg.
The TV said no, it can't, because before there was always that unknown quantity or quality about it. You know, was the team going to move? Were they going to get a new building? Now they know definitely it is going to move. And they can't do anything about it, so they just play their hardest to concentrate on hockey here for this winter and make their new home in Minneapolis next year.
It looked like last spring they were gone for sure. Then a grassroots effort here in the Winnipeg area looked like they were going to be able to keep the team here. The crux of the problem is they don't have the money to cover losses and building a new building to give them the opportunity to get the revenues they need to keep the team here. It's just not going to happen for them. And as it was announced during the summer, the team will be sold. And we look at a lot of empty seats. The crowds have not been good, as you might expect, with the Jets. A lame duck team here in Winnipeg.
They've been around like 8,000 or 9,000. That's about it.
Chris Gratton fires the puck ahead for Jason Weimer. Gratton gets it back. Had it pried away by Drake, who's been a very effective performer for the Winnipeg Jets in this game. A couple of goals, including a big shorthanded goal early in the third that has given Winnipeg a 2-goal cushion. We've got 8 minutes to go in the third. Darren Shannon joined by Eastwood. Shannon gets it back. And Weimer chops it away, taking advantage of the Winnipeg indecision. The Jets simply roll it down the ice. Hammerlick on the move. The Jets changing up. Lima trying to relay it to Gratton. That was broken up by King. Lightning have 2 shots in the period, 27 in the first 2 periods. Got to generate the attack now, down 2. Tucker. Ahead for Yzerbark. Trying to wheel around Manson, who rubs it out. It's shot by Tucker just wide. Lankow throws it behind the net. It's fired away by Manson right into Yzerbark. Tries to spin against Stapleton for the point. Finn shoots it. Tipped a save by Cheveldae. Got a stick on it. Yzerbark and Tucker were positioned in front. Here's Yzerbark. Sends it across the goal mouth, and it was tipped behind Tucker by Stapleton. Tucker. Taken over by Quint. Holder. Damon Lankow picks it up. Bronco banks it in. Chevrolet leaves it for Daryl Shannon, pursued by Sedovanov. Burr in there as well. Solani chops it to Turcotte. Ciccone gets it across. Sedovanov shoots it in, and it's handled by Chevrolet. Chevrolet keeps it moving now. Burr recovers it, goes to Cullen, trying to slip in front. He couldn't get it to the backhand. Korolev ahead for Solani, joined by Turcotte. Turcotte looks goal now. He's upended by Ciccone on a very effective hip check. 6 minutes remaining. Cross ahead for Sedovanov. Lightning down 2. Puck comes down to Daryl Shannon. Simpson just turning over the lines in that Winnipeg bench as Gary Crisp trying to come up with combinations to sneak one behind Chevrolet and tighten this game up. Weimer. Chevrolet keeps it moving to Newman. Batted down by Shaw. Breton had gotten back onside, so he can go into the zone and pursue the play. Outlet is knocked down by Klima. Newman slips it in behind Tkachuk. Hammerlich controls. Weimer joined by Hammerlich. Olczyk takes over. Just over 5 minutes remaining in the third. Pass ahead for Weimer. Breton with Hammerlich joining the play, shooting. Stick save by Chevrolet. Rebound is sent wide as Quint stepped into Weimer at the side of the goal and prevented the shot attempt. Olczyk pops it out over the line. Shaw has to back it up now. Shane Doan works against him. Pass ahead for Klima. Klima's grabbed by Eastwood. Klima stays with it. Now Shannon has it. Gets it to Drake. Firing, and he sends it long. Bellows with 4:20 to go. Gets it in deep. The Lightning changing behind Bellows, so the Jets have a chance to recover the puck and send it out over the blue line.
Lightning are trying their best right now to get things in there. This is really probably the best defensive effort the Jets have had all season long. They are really working hard on that, and really getting on the loose pucks before the Lightning can get any kind of pressure in the offensive zone setup.
Ryan Bellows turns with the puck. He's met by Eastwood. Big collision with Ronan absorbing a hit from Gavey and Bellows. Bill Holder angles it too far. It's driven wide of the net by Daryl Shannon. King just wants to keep it behind the net. Anderson. Gavey had it trot away by the veteran Stapleton. Gavey battles to get the puck back again. Stick is held. He kicks it along. Now Holder works it to his partner Finn. 3:20 left in the third. Finn can't get it in deep. Shaw. Bellows angles it for Langkow. He's bumped by Daryl Shannon. Play backed up by Wilkinson. Sails it to the line, knocked down by Hammerlich. He jumps into the play. The Jets are changing. Hammerlich cuts in, but he's preceded. The play's offside. Under 3 minutes to go in the third. Lightning trail by 2.
Michael Jordan. To find what you desire requires a great effort. You look thirsty. Gatorade?
Thanks. I've come.
I know why you have come. You wish to know the meaning of life.
And?
Life is a sport. Drink it up.
That's what I figured.
How much of a gourmet meal can I get for $3.99? You know, IHOP has gourmet pancakes, harvest grain and nut with English walnuts and wholesome grains, country griddle cakes with real cream of wheat, or new pumpkin rich with cinnamon and spices. Your choice with all of this, just $3.99. So, what do you think of Chez IHOP?
C'est magnifique. Hey, pass the syrup.
Get the pancakes you won't find anywhere else. The IHOP Gourmet Pancake Platter, just $3.99.
Jets lead 4-2. The HIP check of the game is brought to you by HIP Health Plan of Florida, the doctors and programs you want, healthcare that cares about you.
You talk about finishing your checks. Look at Manson really giving a good check on Paul Eisbard, the Lightning captain. Stayed right with him and put him right to the ice. Real solid check by Dave Manson.
Jets toward another. The Lightning thrust into that offensive zone as Newman with his pass toward the net, batted down by Shaw. Blank out. With a pass tip, Eisbard gets it as Tucker going to the net. Shaw slides it in behind the net to Tucker. Has Eisbard in front. The pass read by Newman. Tucker works to get it back. However, Korolev grabs it, and he'll just ease it down the ice. 2:18 to go in the third. And Shaw slowed up by Turcotte. Pass ahead for Tucker. He had to stretch out to get it. Couldn't grab it. Solani trying to shovel it in deep. It's batted by Hammerlick into the Tampa Bay bench. 2:03 remaining.
Now, Solani has had the struggling at the start of the year. Has not picked up a goal, as Rick pointed out, but said he probably played his best game against Detroit on Sunday. There you see the numbers. He scored those 76 goals, but a lot of that had to do with the fact that they had Phil Housley on defense. He could feed that puck up there quite a bit. His numbers have dropped off quite a bit since that year. One of the reasons is that they don't have Housley or a similar-type defenseman to feed the puck up the ice to the forwards.
Holder trying to take the puck the distance is tripped up. The offensive skating prowess of Bill Holder draws a penalty as Neil Wilkinson goes off with 1:53 to go in regulation time, and a huge opportunity is handed to the Lightning.
There he goes, just going down there. As he tries to get past there, you see Wilkinson just tug at him. And Holder not having all his balance as he made that nice move to try and go to the outside. Wilkinson will go down for the final 1:53 unless the Lightning could get a goal. Hooking's the call. Lightning 0 for 3 with the man advantage tonight, this being their fourth opportunity. And again, they've had their opportunities and they've had some chances, but they haven't been able to put it home.
Cullen works between Selovanov and Grattan. The point men are Holder and Klima. Bergeron stays put for the moment in the Tampa Bay net. Puck on the back of the goal, and before Holder can get it free, to run over by Manson, and we get the whistle from Andy Van Helleman. John Cullen back behind the net. Only one of the smaller performers on the ice. He takes a beating, but he keeps coming back for more.
I'm amazed at the way he can spot that open man and get that pass through there. He has such poise and confidence in handling that puck in the offensive zone. Big asset to the power play for the Lightning.
Veteran linesman Leon Stickle drops the puck. Now Holder gets it to Grattan. Lines and fires. Pad saved by Chevelday. Grattan played back to the corner. Newman and shovels it ahead. Eastwood gets it out of there. 1.5 minutes to go in the third. And Klima's pass was picked off by Drake, but Peter recovers it. Now to Cullen. Curls in. As two men going to the net. Throws it back to Holder. Bergeron now coming on for the sixth skater as Klima throws it in behind to Grattan. Sixth skater now is Sean Burr heading right for the net. Holder fires. Saved by Chevelday off the shoulder. Puck batted down by Newman, and Cullen has it. Newman takes it back. Eastwood grabs it. Under a minute to go in the third. Drake couldn't get a stick on it. Now as Burr starts it in, Eastwood had it taken away. Cullen shoots. Stick save Chevelday. Shovels it now to Newman, and Cullen works to get it back. Burr in behind to Grattan. Cullen fires it front. Off Chevelday. Cleared away by Newman. Eastwood trying to get it out of trouble. Can clear it as they're short-handed. 36 seconds remaining in the third. 6-on-4 skater advantage with a goaltender pull for the Lightning. Now as Tkachuk has the puck. Looks. And he's just overcome by too many Lightning players. As Hammerlick lost it, Tkachuk will put it home into the open net. 19.2 seconds to go, and the Jets grab the 5-2 lead in the late going.
Well, they made the best of their opportunities. Not a whole lot of shots on goal. The Lightning did what they wanted to do, is to limit the shot total to around 20. That goal by Kachuk is the 21st shot on goal by the Winnipeg Jets. Lightning, on the other hand, had 35. They just haven't been able to finish their plays. They're struggling 5-on-5. The thing is, when you talk to players, they'll say, you know, you want to score, but if you don't get the chances, you're more worried than you are when you do get the chances and don't convert.
Bergeron back in net as Fellows out of the corner backhands it on goal, to save by Cheveldae. 3 seconds to go. Eisebart shoots. It's deflected, thrown in front by Fellows, and there's the horn. Keith Kachuk, a shorthanded goal into an empty net, ices the victory after a shorthanded goal in the first 15 seconds of the third period by Dallas Drake. Gave the Jets a 2-goal advantage in our final score. The Winnipeg Jets 5 and the Tampa Bay Lightning 2. Chief and I will return to recap the action in just a moment.
Here's your wake-up call, Nate.
Brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Just plain smart. By the Gatorade Company, who reminds you, if you're not standing on the sidelines, you're going to get thirsty. Life is a sport. Drink it up. By Bayfront Medical Center, the official hospital of the Tampa Bay Lightning. By Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right. And by Bud Ice. It's not hockey without ice. Bud Ice and Bud Ice Light, the official beer sponsor of the NHL. Before a small crowd of 6,770 at Winnipeg Arena, the Jets beat the Lightning by the score of 5-2. The Lightning now have a 3-game losing streak, and will try to turn that around in Chicago on Thursday night. It's time to look at our Bud Ice goal of the game, brought to you by Bud Ice, the official beer sponsor of the NHL.
Well, it was only a 1-goal difference until this play happened early in the third period. Langkow trying to give a back pass to Klima. Dallas Drake, who was all over the ice tonight, read the play perfectly, came in and beat Bergeron to the stick side with his second goal of the game and his second shorthanded goal of the season to give the Winnipeg Jets a 2-goal cushion at that point.
Chief, the Lightning in 2 road games 0-2, but as we pointed out, they've had plenty of scoring chances to win both games.
They really have. I mean, Washington was probably the most significant one, where they had the number of chances of not scoring. But here tonight again, they had number of chances early. They did a pretty good job of limiting the Winnipeg Jets to shots on goal, only just 21 throughout the whole game. But again, turnovers at the blue line and not really strong play in their own zone resulted in some opportunities for Winnipeg. And this club, when they can get the opportunities, they put it away. As you can tell, we told you they were the second highest scoring team in the league at this point.
Well, the Lightning fall to 1-3-1 with the loss. The Jets at 3-2-2 back over the 500 mark. Our final score 5-2 Winnipeg over the Tampa Bay Lightning. We'll be back with more from Winnipeg Arena in just a moment. Well, a night to remember for the Winnipeg Jets as they defeat the Tampa Bay Lightning by the score of 5-2. It's time to look at the 3 stars of the game, brought to you by your Suncoast GMC dealer.
Well, take a look. Dallas Drake, this is a no-brainer. He scored 2 goals and 1 assist. Mike Eastwood got a goal and assist, but both of them were so strong on the penalty killing for the Jets, putting the Lightning at 0-4 on the power play, which was really their big offensive weapons for the Lightning. And Paul Eisbert, I thought, had a tremendous game for the Lightning. Got his first goal of the season, but it wasn't enough in the loss.
Now the Lightning have to turn it around against the Blackhawks in Chicago on Thursday.
Yes, they really do. You know, here's a team that's played pretty well, I thought, offensively. You know, that was something that they wanted to work on. They wanted to get a better offensive team. But I think defensively they've been a little bit lax in their own zone. They've been making some bad decisions at their blue line and at the opposition's blue line, which is giving the other team, some good scoring opportunities. And you can't do that too often in this league, because those teams are going to take advantage of it, which we saw tonight with the Winnipeg Jets.
Well, Chief, we'll see you as we leave Canada's windy city and go to Chicago on Thursday.
I know, and it's just as windy as it is up here in Winnipeg. And I think it'll be a good one to be in the new Chicago building.
Look forward to that. 5-2 the final. Jets over the Lightning. We'll come back with more in just a moment.
Sunjet shining bright.
Jets defeating the Tampa Bay Lightning by the score of 5-2. As the Lightning, with their 3rd straight loss, they'll try to get turned around in Chicago. Dallas also on this trip. They'll meet the Stars in Dallas on Saturday night. Let's update you on the out-of-town scores as what has happened earlier in the National Hockey League. The Rangers beat the Islanders 5-1. You see Edmonton with its first win over New Jersey, upsetting the Stanley Cup champions. Chicago downing the Florida Panthers, who've been red hot. 6-3 the final there. Toronto got the healthy 6-0 lead on San Jose, and they hang on for the 7-2 win. A 3-3 final. The Calgary Flames and the Detroit Red Wings. Flames had the lead in that game. Red Wings came from behind to tie. Bruins leading the Blues at the Kiel Center in St. Louis. 5-4 in the third period. And the Washington Capitals have a 4-3 lead in the third period in Dallas. Coming up Thursday here on Sunshine Network, we'll have the action for you between the Lightning and the Chicago Blackhawks from the United Center. First look at that, of course. We did not see the Blackhawks last season, but the Lightning and Hawks coming your way on Sunshine Network Thursday night at 8:30. Keep it right here on Sunshine Network for Press Box, featuring live sports news and up-to-the-minute highlights from around the country. Press Box, live on Sunshine tonight at midnight. Final score once again, the Winnipeg Jets 5 and the Tampa Bay Lightning 2. Our thanks to our crew here. And until Thursday night, Rick Peckham for Bobby Taylor and our producer-director Mike Rubin saying so long from the Winnipeg Arena.